Looks like we've just had another man beat up a female boxer in the Olympics. If you haven't followed the story the last few days, two female boxers, or, you know, female boxers, were cleared to fight in this year's Paris Olympics despite failing gender eligibility tests last year. And this has sparked a really big debate and caused a lot of controversy. And the first fighter here in the red, Iman Khalif, she fought yesterday and finished her Italian opponent in 46 seconds. We covered this in yesterday's video, and it left her opponent, Angela Carini, really upset, and she said she's never felt power like it. But anyway, we have this other girl here on the left, and I say women loosely because we don't really know the full facts of the story just yet. Right, now this is the other girl right here, and this tweet says, another geezer beats up a woman in the Demon Olympics. Just in, Lin Yu-ting in the red beats female opponent Sitora Tebelokova at the Olympics in Paris. Lin was previously barred from the 2023 Women's Boxing World Championships for having male XY chromosomes. Now here's the thing, I am in disagreement with calling this person a geezer because we don't really know what they are yet. And I know I jumped the gun a little bit, but so did everyone. Not that that makes it right, but the facts that we had were pointing in that direction. And then I was also vague and I said that they could be intersex. They were born female, but that doesn't mean that they don't have balls inside them and benefit from the testosterone production. Anyway, here is the fight that Lin had just today, and I've got to get a little bit clever with the editing, guys, because of copyright purposes. The Olympics always block this content. I know a few people who've had copyright strikes from it, so I've got to just fit. And guys, let's be real, right? Regardless of the hormones and the gender and this and that, these two women do look like men. You have to accept that. And I'm not getting at them personally, whatever. The clean slate right now. But let's face it, they look like men. Can we all agree on that? Now, in this video, I've got a few more facts at hand as more information has been coming out about this situation. So, what do we pretty much know for certain? I've got my notes right here. So these two women, they were both born female, yet have XY male chromosomes. So straight away, even though you're born female, if you've got XY chromosomes, that does afford you an advantage. They both apparently went through male puberty, and they both have elevated testosterone levels. And they have both failed the gender eligibility test in the World Championships last year, 2023. So, why are these two women now allowed to compete despite these details? The reason being is because they are within the eligibility rules of the IOC, and the IOC is the International Olympic Committee. So they're able to fight because they passed the tests, but we don't know what the eligibility rules are of the IOC. So that's the first initial little grey area. So a lot of people are putting together the argument of, well, they're allowed to compete, so clearly they are just women, completely normal women. However, the IOC put on a briefing this morning, and they clarified what goes into the eligibility tests. Check this out.
It was an arbitrary decision taken overnight by the CEO and then subsequently agreed later. It may have had something to do with the results beforehand, not liking the results that had happened. But we don't really know. We haven't had that. And there are suspicions all the time about, or can be suspicions about people's sex. Unfortunately, it's not up to, or fortunately, it's not up to us to act on all those suspicions, because if we did, I think we would be dealing with that from now till forever.
Okay, so that's a little bit of a red flag. He said there can be suspicions about someone's sex, but that's not up to us to look into, otherwise we'll be dealing with that forever. That's not entirely true though, is it? You're either man or woman, and then if you look a little bit dodgy, just send you for the test. You're not going to be testing every single person. You're probably going to be testing a handful of people, but it'd certainly wean out the scam artists, if you like. Now here's where he talks about the eligibility requirements.
So the eligibility on this specific issue is if their national document, their passport, has them as a woman.
That's it. Okay. The eligibility for the IOC is, does their passport have them down as a woman? Which I wouldn't say is too smart, because people can be assigned different genders at birth than what they really are due to these dysfunctional sexual disorders. So basically, you could be intersex, you could have balls up inside you that are producing testosterone, and you're benefiting from that testosterone. You could have a vagina and be assigned female at birth, but you could have elevated levels of testosterone. So just for the record, these women, Iman or Iman, were born female, but there's clearly other stuff going on which doesn't make it as clean cut as that. As I say, it's a complicated situation. Let's see what else he says.
And just to kind of reiterate, The Algerian boxer was born female, was registered female, lived her life as a female, boxed as a female, has a female passport. This is not a transgender case. I know you're not saying that, but there has been some confusion that somehow it's a man fighting a woman. This is just not the case. Scientifically, on that there is consensus. Scientifically, this is not a man fighting a woman. Are these athletes women? The answer is yes, according to eligibility, according to their passports, according to their history.
He said, are these athletes women? Yeah, according to the passports and the history. That doesn't give me too much confidence, the way he says that. So, do I believe that they were born women? Yes. Do I think there's other stuff going on? Have they got some sort of sexual dysfunctional disorder thing? Most likely, yeah, especially if they failed the previous tests. Now listen to what he says next.
A test which may have happened overnight was a made-up test, which is new. I don't think we should give that any credence at all. If we start acting on every issue, every allegation that comes up, then we start having the kind of witch hunts that we're having now.
Right, let's clarify what he's just said there. First off, they're not actually testing the hormones. They're basing it off passports and the history of them boxing previously. Okay, whatever. Let's look past that. He said that we shouldn't give the gender eligibility test that they failed in 2013 any credence because it will create witch hunts. So is this just damage control that they're trying to do? Now, we don't really know much about this gender eligibility test that they failed, but to say that it holds no weight whatsoever, I don't know, it's a bit of an extreme opinion. We'd have to see some numbers and figures, we'd have to see the evidence. Now here is some pretty decent journalism the Sky News did. I would show you the clip, but I can't for copyright purposes, so I've taken some notes on their reporting, and to be fair, they found out some good information. So, now these suspicious tests he was just talking about were the gender eligibility tests taken in 2023 for the World Championships, which came under the sanctioning of the IBA, the International Boxing Association. So we have no idea what those tests were and what the results were. We don't really know what was involved in them, so okay. But we do know that the International Boxing Association, the IBA, deemed that they didn't fit the criteria to fight, which in itself isn't exactly too comforting, is it? But what is strange is they have fought at IBA-sanctioned events as female boxers prior to 2023, so that's what doesn't make sense. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. There's political beef going on. So the IBA and the IOC have got beef. And just to clarify, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, the people who are running the Paris Olympics right now, and the IBA, the International Boxing Association, that's who we're talking about. These two sanctioning bodies, they've got beef. And as far as I'm aware, this is from Sky News, there's videos online of certain representatives of the IBA mocking the IOC president. Okay, I haven't seen these videos, but apparently so. And then in 2019, the IOC suspended the IBA from sanctioning events at the Olympics. Now, the boxing at this Paris Olympics is being ran by an independent IOC boxing committee. Now, the IBA is not allowed to be involved due to suspicions around corruption, financial regulation, and the IBA also has certain ties to Russia. Russia's banned from competing in this year's boxing Olympics. So make of that what you will, but there's a lot of politics going on between these two sanctioning bodies. The sanctioning body that previously didn't let these two women fight, and then the sanctioning body that's actually letting them fight now. And then you've got these two women whose gender eligibility is in question in the mix of it all. The way I look at this, best case scenario is you've got a couple women stepping in there who are afforded natural advantages in terms of being born with male chromosomes, going through male puberty, and then having high testosterone levels. Now, does that mean that they should not be allowed to compete if they are super legit female? I don't know. I'm not sure. If we take a look at Iman Khalif here, she's got 37 wins and only 5 KOs. So it's not like she's going in there and absolutely starching people. And then we've got this guy here, 41 wins and only 1 KO and 14 losses. So we're not talking about boxers who are absolutely stomping the way through the female division. I'm still seeing a lot of people report that these are trans athletes. That's not true, but it's definitely a complicated situation. It's not just clear cut, like, oh, they're women, and then that's it, argument over. There's definitely weird stuff going on. You take a look at them, they look very masculine. high testosterone, failing gender eligibility tests. So what do you guys think? Comment your thoughts down below. To all my new subscribers, we upload fighting content every single day on this channel. We go live for the big boxing and UFC events on the Saturdays. And I'm also super excited because 6 days from today, I launch my own app. Let's go, lad, let's go. The Apex Athlete, come on. If you want to join my app waiting list, check the link in the description. And as a thanks for joining the waiting list, I'll send you 12 free training programs. But I can't wait to launch this app right now. I've been using it all this week for my own training, and I absolutely love it already. So yeah, more to come on that. Appreciate all the love and support. Like the video. See you tomorrow.